The O'Reilly Factor, the #1 cable news show for 14 years running.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly in the Weekdays at Bernie segment tonight. Two hot topics, beginning with a new survey conducted by Indiana University, which says there are 4 times as many Democrats than Republicans in the media. The precise stats are these: Republican journalists, 7%. Democrats, 28%. Independents, 50%. And joining us now from Louisville, Kentucky, the purveyor, BernardGoldberg.com. Mr. Goldberg. So I think people who hire journalists hire liberals like themselves. That's why the cycle perpetuates. What say you?
I say the poll is ridiculous. I mean, and let's start with that. The 7% who identify themselves as Republicans, I'll buy that. But only 28% of journalists say they're Democrats and 50% say they're independents. Impossible. A few years ago, I predicted that precisely this would happen because they know the American people think they're liberal, which they are. They know the American people think they root for Democrats, and they do. So they say, when the pollsters come around, they say, no, we're independents.
Right.
Biased, Democrat. No, come on. This is a conservative delusion. And I'll bet you if you injected these people with truth serum, about 85% would admit that they voted for Barack Obama twice.
And I think that's the poll that somebody did. I don't know how accurate you could be with that, but it was an overwhelming vote for Barack Obama. But I think that the reason behind the liberalism in reporting is because the people who hire are liberals and they don't want people who aren't. I mean, you said we discussed it before. If you walk into the New York Times newsroom or NBC
Right.
News newsroom and you have a pro-life point of view, you're against abortion, you're ostracized. You can't exist there.
Exactly. That's why it is not just time, Bill. It is long past time to adopt one of my many, many brilliant ideas. And that is affirmative action for Republican and conservative journalists.
In the media, right.
That's right. The smallest minority in the American newsroom.
That's right.
You just told me this ridiculous poll, but the 7%, I'll buy that. If 7%, a lot more than 7% of the American people vote for the Republican candidate, right?
Sure.
So let's jump through a few hoops and get some.
We need them in college professors hiring, too.
That's absolutely right on that list.
That's right. And talking about colleges, Condoleezza Rice, former Secretary of State, very distinguished woman, very intelligent woman, was invited by Rutgers University, Bernie Goldberg's alma mater, to give a commencement speech. But immediately, a pinhead alert was sounded. Roll the tape.
She played a prominent role in the Bush administration's effort to mislead the American people about the presence of weapons of mass destruction. And she, at the very least, condoned the Bush administration's policy of enhanced interrogation techniques such as waterboarding. And that does it for me.
The commencement speaker is honoring the speaker and also offering a role model to students. And I think we could make better choices than to pick Condi Rice.
You see, now those pinheads, they don't know what they're doing because under that yardstick, you couldn't have anybody in the Obama administration because they use drones. All right?
Exactly.
And drones is worse than waterboarding. You can't have anybody.
Exactly. Barack Obama won the Nobel Prize, and he has killed more people with drones than any person in the history of the planet Earth. Now, I'm not against that for the most part, but as you say, using that standard, you couldn't have him. Hillary Clinton voted, when she was a senator, voted for going to war with Iraq. And by the way, my alma mater, they paid over $30,000 to get that Snooki from New Jersey Shore. They paid her over $30,000 to speak on campus. Granted, they weren't giving her an honorary doctorate, but Snooki is okay and Condoleezza Rice is not okay.
And very few people know this.
Something way out of whack there, you know?
Very few people know this, but I believe in her teens, Snooki did take part in some waterboarding down in, I think it was Egg Harbor, New Jersey. It's a very, very little known story.
I think that happened, and unfortunately, the waterboarding didn't take.
Right. It wasn't she being waterboarded. It wasn't her. It was she was.
No, she was doing it.
Let's get off this. Now, You are involved with Rutgers to some extent. Do you have an honor? What do you have there? What do you have a?
Well, I was. Well, this is a little. You know, I'll be immodest and say I was inducted into the equivalent of their Hall of Fame.
Wow.
The Hall of Distinguished Employees. But that's why I'm especially troubled by this. You want to be proud of your alma mater. I'm ashamed of my alma mater. Now, the president of Rutgers was on the right side of this. He thought Condi Rice should speak, and he made that very clear. But what he didn't do, and so many presidents, they're just weak. What he didn't do is he should have told the professors, I understand your position. I get it. Now move on. You're not going to agree with everybody all the time. And the students, he should have said to them, if any of you screw up this commencement exercise, and I have the power to do it, you won't get your diploma.
You're a fascist.
You'll get arrested and you won't get your diploma. Listen, they did this at Rutgers. They did this at Brandeis with the Muslim. They did this on the West Coast where they disinvited a conservative scholar because he was going to hurt the feelings of the students. They did this at Mozilla Firefox, the web browser, when the CEO of the company, the brand new CEO, it came out that he had the wrong position on same-sex marriage. This is liberal intolerance, liberal orthodoxy, and the bad news, Bill, the bad news is they're getting away with it.
It's liberal tyranny, because
Right.
You're suppressing. But I think Condoleezza Rice, you know, I know her, and she probably did the right thing by not, you know,
I think she did.
distracting.
She did.
All right, Bernie, what is World on Deck calling?